Falcon fans? Your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Sorry guys, I've been gone for about a week. Did a little redecorating around the room. I was out of town as well, but I'm back, so I'm ready to give you guys another video. So today we're going to talk about what does it take to build a winning franchise and how that ties into what the Atlanta Falcons are trying to do under this new regime. All right, before we get into that, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the like button. Please hit notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the share button to share my video throughout the YouTube universe so other people come in and hear me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. Okay, so let's get into the video. First of all, I want to go ahead and congratulate the Los Angeles Rams on winning the Super Bowl. Of course, I had no skin in the game. You guys know that because our Falcons wasn't there. However, we did have a couple of Georgia Bulldogs that was playing, so I was a little biased. I guess I was rooting for the Rams. Congratulations on those. Matthew Stafford, been in the league 13 years. He finally got him a Super Bowl win. So, like I said, congratulations to the Los Angeles Rams. So, let's get into the topic today: how to build a winning franchise. And it's interesting. We're talking about how the Los Angeles Rams built their winning team this year, and how they've been building it over the past few seasons. So is that a good way to build a team? Okay, it worked out. If you're one of those starving franchises and want to, get a win because you never had a win, like our Atlanta Falcons, that might be the way to go. Go all in, go for it, and try to win the Super Bowl. Honestly, if that was to happen, I'll be happy. Like I said, I'm a Falcon fan, so if the Falcons was to go all in, try to win it, let's see what happens. However, that does not always work. It does not always work. For an example, look what the New Orleans Saints did. The predicament they're in right now. They tried to go all in for all these years. They kept stacking, trying to utilize Drew Brees, and now they're $74 million over the cap, and still don't have nothing to show for it. Maybe a couple of years ago, that botched pass interference call that against the Rams, actually, they probably should have went to the Super Bowl, but I don't care. I'm glad they didn't get in anyway. So, but either way, that's what happens when you go all in and you don't build your team right way. Now you're in the predicament that you're in. Your quarterback is gone, and now you're forced to do some harsh things to try to get up on the salary cap. Might have to lose some players. Don't have a quarterback in place that you can rely on. So just things like that. I don't think that's a good way to build a franchise. So I'm gonna give you my opinion, guys. You definitely can put your opinions in. Do you agree with me, or what you feel like is a way to build a franchise, a winning franchise? And what I'm talking about is build it the right way and for it to sustain over the years. Sort of like building a dynasty, like what the Patriots have did over the last 20-some years. So, of course, you're not going to win a Super Bowl every year. Let's be realistic. It's very hard to get to the Super Bowl, but being able to be competitive, being in the playoffs, that's what I'm talking about. Being a team that's always there to have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. That's what I want our Atlanta Falcons to build, and I hope that this regime is trying to get to that point where they can actually build a franchise. So these are some of the things I think that it takes to build a winning franchise, a winning team for the future, for the present, and for the future. And you guys let me know if you think the Falcons are on the right track right now. So the first thing is you got to establish a culture. Of course, if you guys recall, when Dan Quinn came in 2015, he wanted to be fast and physical. He built a brotherhood, and that culture kind of lasted for probably like 3 years. And then I think it kind of died out. The brotherhood kind of died out. Probably died out after the Super Bowl that we probably should have won. And the next year, if you guys remember, we went back to the divisional round playoffs and lost it on the last play, throwing the ball to Julio that did not catch the ball and went out of bounds. So the brotherhood kind of died with that. But establishing a culture, that's what you got to do. That's the first thing you got to do. You got to be able to establish your culture. What's going to be, what the Falcons going to be known for. I mean, you think about it. We had the Dirty Birds, right? We had the guys with prime time. Those guys. Like I said, like we had the brotherhood. So you got to establish some kind of culture. Once you do that, and that's going to attract free agents. That's going to attract guys that want to come play for your team, and you'll be able to let your team know what you're trying to get out of these guys each and every day they come into the building. Is that culture. All right. The next thing is your scheme, your identity, how you want to play. All right. So, I mean, if you just think about it, of course, you had the run and gun, you have the grit blitz, you have the Kyle Shanahan, the wide zone, the West Coast offense. You're going to play cover 3 defense. You're going to play 4-3, 3-4. You have to have an identity. What's going to be your staple? How you're going to play? You don't want to get too stringent though, and not be able to adapt to your players that you have. But you do got to have some kind of identity. How you want to play? We heard Dan Quinn say you want to be multiple, right? That's what I think Dean Pease is trying to do. I think Arthur Smith is trying to have multiple, with all the different weapons that he's trying to deploy on the offensive side of the ball. So those are things that you got to think about. You got to have an identity, scheme and identity, how you actually want to play. And what I'm going to do, guys, so I'm going to go back through these, and then I'm going to let you know what I think if the Falcons are actually kind of on the right track with some of these things. One thing is you got to be given time, all right? Owners, a lot of the NFL owners are impatient, and they don't give these coaches time to come in and build a winning team. You've seen it 2 years, 1 year, some cases 1 year. Coaches are getting fired. 2 years, coaches are getting fired. I think you got to give these guys time. It's hard to build, like I said, build your culture, your identity, and all this stuff. So these guys got to be allowed to have time to actually come in and establish something. And you can see right away if these guys are trying to do that. In some cases, that may be why the owners go ahead and do away with these coaches. But these guys got to be able to kind of have time to establish that culture. All right. The fourth thing is you got to have a franchise quarterback. All right. That goes without saying. If you don't have a franchise quarterback, you're not going anywhere. I mean, just think about over the years, all these teams keep drafting quarterbacks, trying to find the right quarterback. So you got to have a franchise quarterback. If you don't have a franchise quarterback, you're not going to be built for success. You're not going to be as sustaining in the present or the future. So you got to have a franchise quarterback. Next, you got to have philosophy, how you want to build the team. And that's with the coaches and the front office, lock, stock together, making sure how they want to build a team through free agency and through the draft. So you got to think about that. You got to have a philosophy how you want to build a team. You can't just be going willy-nilly and every year you got a different way you're doing things. You got to have a philosophy. You need to stick to the philosophy, and you got to be honed in on that philosophy so your whole team know, front office and coaches know what kind of philosophy that you have. And then the last thing is you got to have a little luck. What I mean by that is you got to stay healthy. A lot of teams, they put teams together and then the guys get hurt, and and that you just got to have that luck. I think any sport team, any franchise is, you look around in injuries and things like that, and just a little unlucky. You put the right pieces together, and then something happens, and then it doesn't work out like you want to because you're just a little unlucky. So I think with dealing with sports, you always got to have a little luck into this thing. All right, so let's go back through it. Establish a culture. Do I think this team have established culture? I do. I think that Arthur Smith came in. He actually established a culture. We won 7 games, 1-score games this season. He was trying to let this team know that we're going to change that stigma of that we can't win close games. During the year prior, we lost most of those kind of games. This year, we actually turned around. So he's trying to build that culture, being able, don't give up. Whatever the stake says, we're going to try to go in and win. And a lot of the one-score games, we was in every last one of them. So do I think that Arthur Smith is building the culture? Yes, I do. And I really believe that he's on the right track with that culture. Scheme and identity, of course. We seen you can just look. He want to run the ball. He want to do play action, and Matt Ryan had a lot of less pass attempts this year because he want to establish that running game. That's the identity he want to do. He want to control the game. He want to run the ball, and he want to limit the number of times that we have to drop back and pass. Limit the number of times that we have our defense on the field by controlling the clock. Try to be in control of the game. That clock, that management, that's what Arthur Smith has been doing. And then on the defensive side, you've seen that Dean Pease was establishing his scheme. These guys got it over time, and these guys was better. We was in the middle this year. In past years, we was at the bottom. We was at the bottom in defense, and he was able to do it with not a lot of talent on that defensive side of the ball. A lot of one-year guys that was coming in, and he still was able to get the best out of these guys. Guys, remember, we didn't give up a big play over 40 yards all season long. That just goes to show that he did build an identity, did build a scheme. Yes, it's a lot of work still to be made, but at the same time, I think that we are building a scheme and identity with this team. Given time, of course, I think that Arthur Blank is going to get these guys time, but I think the clock starts this year. I think Arthur Smith, Terry Fontenot probably got a couple of years to show some improvement, showing that these guys know what they're doing. Of course, both of these guys are first-time general manager, first-time head coach. So, like I said, I think he is going to give these guys time. And we'll just have to see, if it's going to pan out for these guys. The fourth thing is franchise quarterback. Right now, we do have a franchise quarterback, Matt Ryan. However, we're being honest, and we're going to talk about the present and the future. We got to have a succession plan. And Arthur Blank, he mentioned that in his interview last week leading up to the Super Bowl. He mentioned the succession plan, and that's definitely very important for these guys to kind of figure out what kind of succession plan they're going to have at quarterback. All right, so if you think about it, and some I've been listening to a lot of guys, and they make a great point. When is the time to go ahead and put your new quarterback in? We could, like I said, we can take Matt Ryan, we can use him, build a team, but how good are we going to be? How far away it's going to put us for being up in the draft? Because we do have Matt Ryan, a veteran quarterback. We're probably going to win more games, but then that's going to pull us further away from higher in the draft, in the next coming seasons, to be able to draft a succession quarterback. So what's the idea are they gonna do to actually have that succession plan for their quarterback? I think it's very important that these guys to start thinking about that. Like I said, Matt Ryan is our quarterback right now in the present, and probably for, in my opinion, probably a couple more years. But these guys got to start thinking about a succession plan. And so we won't have the Pittsburgh Steelers situation, the New Orleans Saints situation. We do not want to have a situation where the Cleveland Browns been drafting quarterbacks after quarterbacks after quarterbacks. The Jets trying to find a quarterback. The Giants still trying to find a quarterback that they can believe in. So we want to be like what the Kansas City Chiefs was able to do. Like the Houston Texans was able to do. We still don't know what's going on with Deshaun Watson, but how they was able to move up. What the San Francisco 49ers are trying to do, they when they got their quarterback, and these guys, hopefully they thinking Trey Lance is going to be their succession. What Green Bay did with Aaron Rodgers. So those are just some examples of the best way to try to kind of build a succession for the future. But right now, we do have a franchise quarterback, but these guys got to be looking for the present and the future. And I know a lot of people always saying that when a new general manager, new head coach in, they want to get their quarterback in. And I can understand that. But, you know, these guys still do believe in Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's still playing at a good enough level to win games and possibly have us for a championship run. We just got to see what kind of pieces we put around Matt Ryan. So, but we do have to have a succession plan. And so these guys got to be thinking about that. Arthur Blank even mentioned that these guys got to be thinking about that. So that's one of the things that I think having a philosophy on how you're going to build a team. I think Terry Fontenot came out and he kind of explained his philosophies on that. Of course, he's best player available in the draft. That's one of the things he said he got from the general manager from Baltimore. So I think that's awesome. Ozzie Newsome, he got that kind of philosophy, be best player available. You always go with the best player available. And then the free agency, that's when you try to go for needs. I think it's very important to probably go for needs in free agency. One reason, because you kind of know what you're getting with a free agent. They already been in NFL. They already know. They got tape out there. They've been played in professionals, and you kind of know what you're getting with free agents. So if you got a need, if you can find a free agent that'll fill that need, that's probably what you're gonna do. In the draft, of course, you want to get the best player available, but you understand that it's going to probably take some time for some of these rookies to translate into the NFL game. So I think that's a good philosophy to have. And if you see the way they built this team this year, they almost hit on every last rookie that they drafted. These guys had most of these guys had a big role this year on this team, and so they're only going to improve, over the next couple seasons. So kudos to these guys in their first draft. And then the free agency, they did what they had to do. I mean, with the salary cap, the situation what it was, they really just went out and got bargain basement deals for all the players that they brought in on this past season. Some of that might be the case again this year. We just will have to see. The salary cap is going up. We're under the cap right now. So last year, remember guys, we was over the cap. We had to find a way to get under before the new year starts. So we're definitely in a better position than we were last year with the salary cap. And then, like I said, last thing is luck. All right, the guys we do bring in, we gotta hope that they stay healthy and produce like we want them to. from free agency and from the draft. So that's my philosophy. That's what I think the Falcons are going. I think they're going in the right direction, building the team. Like I said, what is the correct formula to build a team? Like I said, we just looked at the Los Angeles Rams winning, and they pretty much got rid of all their draft picks and brought in a lot of high caliber free agents and to got them over the top. But if you're looking for the future, they're gonna lose a lot of those free agents. The salary cap is the salary cap. They don't have any extra money more than any other team. So yes, it paid off for these guys, and a lot of times it don't pay off in free agency, but it did for the Los Angeles Rams. Like I said, congratulations to those guys. But my belief that you have to build a team through the draft and plug and play some free agents in. However, Los Angeles Rams, it paid off for them, but I don't think it's going to help them out in the long run. And maybe that's it's all about winning, right? So like I said, these guys won, so it's hard to discredit what these guys actually was able to do. Like I said, the Falcons was to pull something like that off and win a Super Bowl, I'll be happy. So however, I don't think that's the direction these guys want to go. I think they're trying to build for, like I said, for now. We definitely want to win now, and we're trying to build for the future. The last thing I would say is that we talked about the quarterback position of Matt Ryan, and the reason why I think that when we talk about that succession plan is that Matt Ryan's going to be here, because I really believe these guys was ready to move away from Matt Ryan. It would have been last year. It was like 4 or 5 draft picks out there, quarterback, that these guys could have picked and brought in and let them sit behind Matt Ryan last year. And then this could have been a year or the following year to him to take over. So I really believe that these guys do believe in Matt Ryan. I believe that he's going to be here for probably another couple of years. So like I said, they're building for the present and the future. And we know that these guys definitely need to build trenches first. If you looked at the Super Bowl, we know what I mean by that. You have to build the trenches first. You got to be able to protect the quarterback. You got to be able to get after the quarterback. And if you looked at the Super Bowl, it was very telling where the strength and the weakness of both of those teams were. It was in the trenches. It was in the trenches for the Rams on defense, and the trenches for the Bengals on defense as well, because the Rams couldn't run the ball at all. And that's one of the things that they like to do, is run the ball, but they was not able to run the ball. But then on the flip side, the Bengals like to pass the ball, and they wasn't allowed to pass the ball because that Rams defense was getting after them. So we definitely got to build the trenches. I don't think it's any surprise of what happened, because at the end of the day, that defensive line, offensive line, and everybody look at all the flashy weapons that you got out there, running back, receivers, and DBs, and tight ends, and all this stuff. But if you can't block, and if you can't protect, you're going to have a long day. And that's what happened in that Super Bowl yesterday. So, guys, that's all I have today. I'm glad to be back talking to you guys. And I definitely want to hear how you think, what your idea of building a winning team, winning franchise. And do you think that the Atlanta Falcons are on the right track for building that winning team, building that winning franchise? So, guys, this is your boy Ricondo. Come back with another video. Peace.